there's just, I said this on the Patreon the other day. I don't really get that upset with what people say because I know how cheap words are. And most people that are talking to you are lying and making things up. Most people are trying to make themselves sound more interesting by lying. They'll make up things that never happened to them and they'll say it. They'll tell you stories from movies that they think you didn't see and then try to pretend that they lived through them. This is how desperate most human beings are for any level of attention. They just don't care. So words to me don't mean anything. Literally, no matter what you say, I understand that words, of course, do mean things. But I'm very cynical. Unless you show me something, unless I'm able to deduce, like what you say to me is absolutely, for the most part, as irrelevant as anything. When people just pop off and talk, I mean, I have friends that I like that I know are pathological liars that will sit at a table with you and make up something that's just completely untrue and get called out on it and really don't have any shame. This is just, I assume when people are talking to me, I assume that most of them are lying. I just assume you're making something up. And then if it turns out to be true, I go, oh, nice. If it turns out to be an actually true thing, I go, oh, that's nice. I just, you can't trust people because all they're trying to do is be funny or interesting. And they'll say anything. People will literally just say anything. People talk about things they have no idea what they're talking about, and they just go. They just go. There's no shame. They just go. They just go right. They just let it out. Doesn't matter. They don't have to know about it. How many times do we sit in a room and people start talking to Rogan about fighting? They start telling him what the deal is. It's like, what are you saying? Shut up. Will you shut up? They don't care. They just talk because they don't know what else to do. They're very uncomfortable with silence. So they just talk. I've members of my family like that. They don't know anything and they say ridiculous things because people don't call them out. And they just say things that don't make any sense. Just let it happen. You can't get angry. People get angry that boomers go on Facebook and light it up. Let them have it. Who cares? It's funny. They're crazy. They're almost dead. They've never had a platform like this where they could just launch. They could just go. It used to be a corner bar. Now it's Facebook. They could just launch. They don't need to have the facts. Doesn't matter to them. They want to be heard. Boomers, by the way, it's the first generation that has a shit ton of life experience and no wisdom. Like they're like, I've been on this planet a long time. It's like, and you ruined it. Shut the fuck up, half of you, not all of you, but a lot of you should just pipe down. Just go out quietly. You destroy. It's like you inherit a house, you burn the house down. Just leave quietly. Just exit quietly. Don't be loud on the way out. You burned it down. And that's not everyone, but let them launch on Facebook. Let them pop off. Anyone still on Facebook in any meaningful sense right now is a mental patient. And I mean that. If you're on Facebook trying to make a point, you're nuts. It's a graveyard. I see people that I kind of respect on and they go into these multi-paragraph things on Facebook, and they're like, well, here's how I see it. Here's how I see it. Could there be anything less appropriate than your take on Facebook? There's nothing to say anymore on that site. It's like the people who are still there are sick. You're convincing sick people? My mother is in a mental institution. They're all more well-adjusted than my Facebook timeline. People talk about drama in these little comedy community. No one cares about your drama in Burnt Corn, Alabama's comedy scene. Stop talking about the open mic that banned you because you used the word Oriental. And then you and the 9 other people in that scene are going to have a 2,000 comment thread about free speech. After the Ari thing, again, people doing these big comment threads about free speech. Shut the fuck up. You also have the freedom to not speak. Doesn't affect you. You're unaffected by this. You don't need to go into a whole, but this is what people do when, and I've said it before, they're feral. They've been bit. Social media has given them this idea that they have to have a take on things. Just let it go. No one gives a fuck about what you're saying. Calm down. It's crazy. Stop posting libertarian memes if you live with your mother. Stop talking about how bad socialism is if you live with your mother. Get out of your house. These Long Island guys live with their mom. Socialism is bankrupted. Will you shut up? You're eating cereal that someone bought for you. You're on a family plan. You're in your 30s. It's like that's what Facebook is. It's like people have authority. My favorite ones. They go, get off my page. Take that off my page. This is my page. I don't own a house, but I own this page. I have this page where I can enforce the rules. Go. I have it to sell some tickets, to put some merch out there. There was I had a lot of fun with it back in the day. I used to write these long things, troll people. It was a lot of fun, but it's over now. And if you're 96, don't be on TikTok. Like, maybe we'll all have to be on TikTok. There's just something super sad about seeing old people on that app. I know that we have to get on it probably for our careers, but there's something sad about it. You feel odd being on it because everyone's 15. It's like, I'm not really trying to entertain 15-year-olds. I don't care. You shouldn't think I'm funny. You can't buy tickets to my show. We're not doing anything here. There's no overlapping life experiences of me and you. You were born after 9/11. You know what I mean? I was born before 9/11. And then I learned that 9/11 wasn't real. So yeah, we're never gonna, I'm not doing your new dance on TikTok. Okay? I watched the towers fall and then found out they were holograms. I'm not doing your dance. I'm not doing your Fortnite dance. Okay? I'm awake. You don't get it, you little punk bitch. You don't know what it's like to listen to people talk about lizard people and then find out they're right. Me and Ray were saying, this is why people are going so fucking nuts. Me and Ray knew how fucked everything, we knew how fucked the whole government was, but then most people just found out about it with kid fucking. So that's how their minds melted. Mm-hmm. Because if you knew about Kennedy and about all of these coups that we did, if you knew about these if you knew about how fake everything was and the murder and assassination and blackmail, you knew the shit the CIA was into, if you paid attention, if you'd read any of those books, if you knew, our appetite for skullduggery and the things that we had done to other people, children, if you knew about MK Ultra, if you knew about that shit, then once you got to the pedophile cults and Epstein, you were kind of like, this is a heinous but logical conclusion to the infrastructure, the groundwork that we already laid in our mind. Mm-hmm. But if you just arrived at that, your mind melts. And that's what you're seeing is people's minds melt. So you're like, oh, fuck. Wait, what? It's crazy. If your entrance point into how fucked up everything is there's private islands where politicians are fucking kids, your mind will melt. And I'm not saying it's not shocking if you knew other things, but it's less shocking if you knew what these people are capable of. If you just know what they're capable of, you're like, yeah, this is what we had thought it could be. And it is that. But that's what people's minds are melting and they don't know what to do. So I think that's where the QAnon stuff comes in. It's like they're just looking to believe things. They're like, well, I hope to God that everything's, but now it'll be okay, right? They're like, but now, because that's what all these things are. They're like, but now it's good because now there's the secret war that's happening. And you're like, well, I don't know. Hopefully you're right. Hopefully there is a secret war. What am I telling you? I would love if there was a secret war and good people won. Great. But I just, it's like thinking that Donald Trump is leading that war to me is I almost have to believe that one of these realtors on Bravo is doing it because it's the same type of person. I would almost have to believe that, Yeah, one of the guys from $1 Million Listing is fighting a secret war to free all the kids that are being fucked. Really? Good. You would say good. You'd go good. The guy from $1 Million Listing that sold the house, the big house with the rooftop pool, he's doing the secret war? Oh. Well, I'm happy about that. I'm not against that. I'm for that. If it's happening, I'm for it. I have no investment in it not happening. Good. That's what Ari Shaffir has to do to get in everyone's good graces. He's got to figure out who killed Epstein. Ari's got to solve the Jeffrey Epstein murder and then come back with a fire tweet naming the perpetrator. John McAfee did it recently. He's like, it was Tartaglione. It was his prison guard, and we're piecing the other things together. And he's like, if you know how it happened, I'll buy you dinner. It's like, okay. Prince Andrew not cooperating. That's a shock. It's a shock. It's a shock. They're still trying. Like there's still elements, I'm sure, the FBI that have some good people in them, and they're still like trying to. We wish everyone luck. Ghislaine Maxwell in a few years will be somebody buying a house in one of these Bravo real estate shows. They'd be like, it's one thing I know about Ghislaine. She loves a stunning estate. Ghislaine is a socialite. She's made of money hanging out with people with a lot of style. So I'm going to show her a house in the Bird Streets. The Bird Streets are like the hot Hollywood Hills. You people don't know. The Truesdale Estates. A lot of this stuff is gated. When I was a kid, I grew up. We used to drive through wealthy areas and smoke pot in the car. And that's how, white privilege, it's annoying to hear, but it is true because I literally used to get high and look at all my friends and go, I want to see the mansions. And we would just drive around mansions, just stoned and on other things. And then we'd just get out of the car sometimes and like creep up the lawn at these old mansions. I'd be smoking a cigarette. I'm like, look at this property. It's gorgeous. I was driving through Sands Point, Long Island one day. I was smoking pot with my buddy Tom, who's now works for the government. He's like a U.S. Marshal. And we were driving, and we had the windows down. We were smoking pot, driving through all these mansions, and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, these people are so much better than us. They're so much better than us. And I wasn't kidding. I was awake and aware, and that was fun. You can't do that in California because of the goddamn gates. These fucking scaredy cats, they always need to be behind the gates. But in Long Island, a lot of those areas weren't gated, so you could drive around, all coked out and look at Christmas lights. There was something nice to be coked out and look at Christmas lights. It's much nicer when you're stoned. Obviously, it's nicer. It's nicer when you're stoned and you have a little hot chocolate from Dunkin' Donuts and you can go look at the lights. So fun.